right, let's check some levels here. I just want to double check a couple things before we get started. Get the chat up. Yeah, welcome aboard. We are going to do some air and halo mining today. I took the liberty of sparing you the first, I don't know, 57% of my hydrogen locating some in the mine here in the halo. Normally it goes a little faster than that, but you know what? It didn't this time, so that's okay. I thought we would just go ahead and start with this 26%er. This is about 25 SEU of quantanium. And so we will just go ahead and get started here. So I have some brands on board. I am in the air and halo, not far from Arcal 1. So we're going to go ahead and get this mined up here, and then we're going to take it in to the refinery. We're going to head back out and maybe look around for one more thing to mine. So kind of 1.77 instability here. And yeah, I'm in a good range. Slowly we'll build a little bit of energy into this thing. We have our laser intensity at 100%. It's a good size rock, 4,900 pounds. Got a little borate in it, quartz and beryl. Yeah, it took me a little while to find something out here. I'm not going to lie. It took a little longer than I would have wanted it to. This is my third time mining since 3.16.1 dropped. And all three times have been a little more challenging than usual. And I don't know if it's just the servers I'm on, if it's just been a touch slower. And it's not to say I haven't found quantanium. Thursday night we did 120 SCU. Yesterday we found an 87 SCU mole run. Today, you know, I found this 25 SCU. It's just the amount of time it's taking is just a touch longer than I'm used to. So, you know, I do tons of mining, so it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. It's just my experience has been the first couple of times out mining since 361, it has been a little bit slower to locate the quantanium. Not saying everybody's experiencing that at all, but that's certainly something that I've experienced. So. All right, we're getting close to the optimal here. We'll kind of keep an eye on it. 1.77 is usually not terribly difficult to deal with. We just jumped into the optimal there and backed out a bit. I'll let it climb kind of about halfway through the optimal before I start kind of having it fall off. And I fell it off there, and maybe it touched too much, but we'll see here. Back in it goes. Just kind of feathering the laser intensity, the mouse wheel back and forth, lowering the laser energy, and then putting a little more into it as I need it. This looks like we're going to have a nice clean break here. Alright, that's a good break. So we'll see how this breaks up for me. That is going to be a 70%er. Okay. That's going to be nothing. Good. Take a look at this guy here. That's going to be nothing. Okay, so it's going to be concentrating into these rocks over here. That one's nothing. Cool. This is probably going to be a pretty 36, okay, and then maybe a little in this one too. And that's going to be a 73. So a couple 70s and a 30 it looks like here. We'll go ahead and do this 30 first and see what we need. 35%er here. Got some brands on board, and we'll just fire one of those as we need it. Hey, that's good. The more than we bargained for there. Oh, the mass is very small on this. It's 394. Go ahead and flatten it out with the brand a little bit, and yeah, this shouldn't be too big of a deal here. That's just a little guy. And we're gonna get clean break coming here in just a sec. Even though she was a touch grumpy there for a second. Good break. This is my next one here, 70%er. Let's go ahead and get that guy. Watching the brand, I'm trying to get it into the green before it's about 30 seconds left on the brand. I managed to do that there. That normally means you can use one brand and break 2 rocks. It's not always an easy thing to do. You know, but this, you know, it's those little games inside the games that make it fun. I've got about, yeah, we got a good 15 seconds now left on the brand. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So 1 brand, 2 breaks. That's just the way we like to do it. And then I have this last one. I think it's this guy right here. Let me just poke it real quick. Yep, this is our guy. Another 70%er here. So we'll have to, you know, be a little bit discerning with, you know, when we're doing our extractions, but not terribly discerning. I will fire another brand here, just to make it easy. We do have a 2.38 instability. So beautiful Sunday. It's actually a touch gray outside today. A little snowy, a little cold. And that's alright. It's a great day for gaming. And certainly a nice day. Any day is a nice day to do a little quantanium mining. Alright, so good clean break here. We're going to switch to the extraction mode after this break. No problem there. We got a touch into the... I'll just, one more time, just check all these rocks just to make sure that I was right. Yep, good there. Just double checking these yellows to make sure we're not leaving any on the table. I don't think we are. Nope. All right, we're ready to begin the extraction. So we're looking for 100%ers if we can find them first. But, you know, the way the rock's broke, you never know how that's going to go. So that's a 75. We'll just kind of go bottom, left to right, or port to starboard. That didn't have anything in it. That's good. That's 77. So, yeah, you can see she didn't necessarily clean break on that one, which is okay. That's a hundo. So we'll go ahead and extract that hundo to begin with. Take it in. The best we were going to do on this rock is 25 SCU, around there between 25 and 26. If we got every little piece, every little bit in there. That is nothing. That's a hundo. Him on board. Good. Take a look at this guy here. Big rock, 278 hundo. We'll take it. Nicely done. What do we got here? That is a 89. Yep. I don't think that there's any... Oh, there's this guy here. What is this guy? Mostly nothing. All right, so we're going to grab this 89 and then those 270s and see how we do. So we broke 18 SCU, 18 and a half. Oh, there's a guy back there. Sneaky little devil. Looks like she has a little bit of something in her besides quantanium, if there's any in there. Alrighty, here's that 70%er. So we broke 20 SCU, that's good. 22, 23, good. And here's that other one, you know, as I remember. And, you know, this was somewhere around 25 SCU, so hopefully we're... Yep, 25.13. I don't think there's any more to be had here. This is about what I expected to pull in off this rock. Yep, that's nothing. One more check. That's not really scanning. But quantanium is not going up. And this guy was nothing. So yeah, we're ready to head out. We're going to head on back to ARC L1. And put the stuff in the refiner and come back out and maybe look for one more load. So 5.2. 5.232 is how far away we are. Out we go. So not a bad way to start. You know, it was a 25 SCU prospector run. Certainly not a unicorn, but nothing to sneeze at all. I have the Atlas drive on the prospector right now. Good medium, good long range drive for the prospector. Not the fastest drive. For shorter runs, I do recommend like the VK00 or the Rush. I think those are, you know, if you're going to be doing some short range quantanium mining, those are really good for the prospector. I do have a Lancet, and I am running some brands. I know a guy I mine with a lot 4. He's been running with some surges, you know, and some stampedes in order to break bigger rocks, and I can respect that meta. I think that's a good way to do it. I've been definitely just kind of sticking with grants, locating the quantanium and doing it that way. So we're going to bring this load into ARC L1. We're going to throw her in a refiner, and we're going to head back out to the Halo and see if we can find one more load after that. Now, CRUL1 has a much better quantanium offset. You know, you get a 5% bonus for quantanium in your refining jobs, which generally offsets the cost of the refining job itself as far as materials go. And I do like to mine out of CRUL1. We've been mining a lot out of ARC L1 because Lyria has been so lucrative. But the last couple times I mined on Lyria, it's been a struggle. We found lots of stuff, but it's taken a little bit more time than we're used to. So I thought I'd hit the Halo today and shake it up. And I definitely want to head over towards you know, CRUL1 at some point and mine there as well. That's been my traditional stomping ground. But you know, sometimes you just got to shake it up a little bit. And we had been doing, you know, working around Lyria for a while, but it looks like we might be heading back over to CRUL1 at some point. So, haven't heard first alarm yet. Still in really good shape as far as that's concerned. Do see a ship there on ARC L1, no big deal. We're just going to move on in here, call for a... platform, set her down easy, and run in and store the ship. and head down to the refiner and put this stuff in the refinery. Moving on in, you can see my hydrogens that, you know, it took me a little while to find something to, you know, when I do a mining stream, especially in the Iron Halo, I do like to kind of be on something when I start the stream, just so you're not necessarily spending the first 45 minutes of the stream watching me look for rocks to mine. And that's what it would have been. It was definitely a solid half hour. So KSS is saying I stopped using Stampedes. The pulse blew my ship up like 4 times in a row, and I figured I cut losses with the consumable. You're absolutely right. The Stampede surge method can really kind of get you in a jam if it's not real delicate and not, you know, it's not something that I do all the time. Occasionally I'll go big rock head hunting with my prospector, but I don't do it a ton. And I agree with that 100%. It can be very dangerous. I think overall, if I just kind of take the Lancet and the Brance, she just kind of cruises along, and it's kind of a vanilla meta, but it works really good for me, and it keeps keeps everything clean and nice and efficient. So, KSS is asking another question: ever done any mining around Microtech? You know, I have done lots of mining around Microtech. What I have found is that the weather there can blow the ship around quite a bit. So like I have found like Microtech itself to be sometimes kind of tedious because it's very windy around there, and even like on Calliope, Euterpe, or Clio or whatever, you know, whatever those 3 moons that are over there, they can be a little weathery too. So, you know, I definitely think that the lower gravity places like Daymar and Lyria are a little smoother. Ooh, I better put my gear down. That's been my own experience when it comes to mining around Microtech. It's not that you can't do it; it's just that it's a little tedious with the wind. You have to kind of spend a lot of time correcting. It's not as fun as mining on like a low gravity moon. All right, so out we go. Still haven't heard first alarm, which is good. And cruising along here. Down to the lobby we go. We'll get this prospector stored, and then we will run down to the refinery, get this refining job going, and we will come back up and head out for one more run. Alright, kind of put this guy down on good, we got her stored. It's always a good thing. Stop the timer. Head over here to the elevator and head down to the refinery. Normally when you're kind of, you like to use these elevator rides sometimes to just kind of check the ship, make sure she's groovy. Still got 3 Brants on board. We're still got plenty there, so nothing like a good pre-flight, you know, kind of using that elevator time to just double check things. So 26 SCU, 25 and some change, I think, is what it ended up being. Not a bad start at all. We'll take it.
Management just wanted to make a general announcement to check your valve settings. We've been noticing leaks in processes.
Check your valve settings, people. We've been noticing leaks in processing. Gotta love that banter in the refinery. The refinery is one of the coolest, like gameplay additions for the mining loop. I think it's cool. All right. I'm gonna set up a work order here, and we're gonna do this quantanium. I'm just gonna go ahead and just do a dynic solvenation here. Confirm. Yep. You could see that 83 26 yield mole run that we did last night. So KSS is asking another question. What's your opinion on solo mole? I basically don't really want any other ships right now, so going for that. My system is very old, so I'm paranoid about playing with others because my system can crap out pretty easy. Do you think that solo mole is doable, especially with cracking bigger rocks? So the solo mole is absolutely doable. I tend to find it's a little more tedious. You know, obviously running back and forth between the mining laser and the pilot. But when I first got my mole, you know, I did it all the time. It's absolutely doable. I do think it's a little easier to do in the air and Halo or in space. You know, I think it's a little more forgiving. But that being said, you can absolutely solo mole. And I definitely understand. I do think if your system's not as great, the air and Halo can also help in the sense that there's nothing around you really except the rocks, so you're not rendering a whole lot of stuff. You won't be able to, unless you kind of jank it out, which I've been able to do, you won't be able to put jump in one laser, get it on there, go to the other laser, put it on there. So that's not necessarily a thing. Of course, you could always invest in, say, a $45 second account and throw an alt in a laser and just have them 0% it, which quite honestly can be beneficial. The more lasers that hit the rock, the more debuff. For instance, if you have 2 lancets hitting the rock, the instability is down significantly, even if that laser is at 0%. But it's absolutely doable solo. You can do it. And I think that you would find that it would be enjoyable. I just want to double check here. Especially in a situation where you do happen to on something where it's north of... It's every time you kind of find something that's more than your traditional 32 SCU, it seems like, you know, it makes it worth it. Frotix, hi, how are you today? So we are mining in the air and Halo today. We started out, did 26 SCU, found the 26 SCU rock, and we're headed back out for a second run. Pad 2. Happy Sunday, everybody. Well, thanks for asking. I'm doing really good. It's, you know, obviously a great day to, nice day to be able to do a little mining and yeah. What are you up to today? Anything fun? Hey, Bruce. Yes, I'm absolutely mining quantanium today. That's exactly what I'm doing. We already got 26 SCU in the hopper in our first, you know, in the first rocks we found in the Halo, and we're headed back out to the Halo today. Oh, KSS, yeah, I understand what you mean when you do find multiple rocks. And you know, like I said, I think as long as you're patient and you kind of understand the meta of the solo mole, like I said, it can be a little tedious, but overall, you know, I mean, you absolutely can do it, and I definitely understand why you want to have a little more wiggle room to get more quantanium. You know, when I solo, you know, I make a lot of money solo prospecting, so I just kind of stick to that for the most part. But I definitely, when I first got that mole, soloed all the time. Soloed all the time in it, and really enjoyed it. And you know, now I get lucky. I have a couple of folks who like to go mining, you know, on a fairly regular basis. So lots of times when we have the mole out, we'll have a couple of people, you know, on board, at least 2 of us, but sometimes 3, and even occasionally once in a while have a nice full complement, which some people think it's a little bit of a waste, but I actually think it's just a blast. I mean, that's me being just honest. I think it's actually fun as heck having a full crew and just piloting the mole, and having somebody who's good to calling the lasers down there a little bit, and you just kind of, you know, position the ship correctly and work as a team. You really can be very efficient that way. You know, and it's always nice to just have a couple other people aboard, and you know, you got to have witnesses when the crazy stuff happens. You know, so back out to the Iron Halo we go. We're headed towards HURL5. We're going to drop out about 8.2-ish and just kind of see where we're at. And start looking again for some more quantanium. Hey, Phenom, how are you, sir? Nice to see you. How you been? All right. You're ready to drop out here, about 8.2 or so. Not a perfect science doing this. Yeah, but not bad. We'll take it. First thing I do normally when I get out of the hail is I actually just kind of set myself back for RCL1. And the cool thing about doing that is when you kind of roll over, you know the sun's at your back, and this you kind of use this as not necessarily a, you know, you don't have to fly right towards it, but I do like to have something, you know, kind of on the screen that basically, you know, symbolizes just kind of a general direction. So we got a couple of rocks right off the bat, right when we came out of Quantum. That's always fun. Can't really scan that one. What about these guys over here? Don't seem to think these guys are scanning either. We'll maybe move in on them because they were fresh pops when we first. We'll at least kind of put the mining laser on them for a sec and see if we. Oh, nice to hear from you now. Good job. Glad to hear you've been doing good. Nicely done here. Yeah, I'm not really. Sometimes there are dead rocks. You know, that's one of the things you definitely have to get used to. You know, when you go mining in the Iron Halo, and these first ones, you know, look like they're going to cooperate too much. One of the things I kind of think that's a little different is I like the fact that if you notice I'm out of range here, but I get a 5,000 signature, that means there's one rock. You get 10,000, there's 2, 15,000, there's 3. You know, so it's kind of a, you know, I've noticed that they've got that kind of back working again with 316.1, or at least it's working better for me. So this first rock here is it's got diamond, gold, and corundum in it. So off we go. Kind of keep looking around here. There's one down there. Let's just kind of roll a little closer to it and see what we see. So this is where kind of the, you know, the fishing part of the expedition begins, right? I mean, you just kind of scan rocks and see what you get. Now, I have seen a couple times where you get where it just kind of gives you the RS signature of the single rock, and you move a little closer, and you do get a little bit of you can get that extra scan, or sometimes you don't. So we're going to move in kind of close and keep. She's looking like she's a dead rock, so we're going to go ahead and just ping out and move on. This is that thing I was talking about with kind of keeping ArcL1 in kind of at your kind of 12 or 1 o'clock or 11 o'clock. So Phenom is saying, I noticed lately after breaking rock parts of it become dead and not highlight. Oh, interesting. So Phenom's saying that he's noticed like he sometimes will break rocks down, it sounds like, and then they're not, after they break apart, they're not actually scannable. I have not experienced that myself, but it's definitely something I'll keep an eye out for, and I appreciate that feedback, sir. I'm always, me, I always like to pass along little tips and tricks when it comes to mining. And, the one thing I was saying earlier is, since, 316.1 dropped, and it's a small sample size, I've gone mining 3 times, and in each of those cases, it has seemed like it's been a touch slower than I I don't know, I'll keep on mining, and we'll do 100, go ahead, mining runs, and we'll have a better idea of it. But, that's been my experience so far. It's not to say I haven't found the quantanium, because I certainly have. But it has been a touch slower a couple times on Lyria, and then it took me about 45 minutes to find something to mine earlier in the Halo here. Now, that's not always indicative of the entire, like I said, it's a small sample size. It's not always indicative of the way it's going to be, but it is something that, those are the little things I like to take note of for sure. All right, so got a good scan on this guy. Oh, nope, that's got the, once again, you see that max RS signature, just, that's kind of the base scan. So KS is saying, I could never get scanning to work. Press the V button, point crosshair, hold mouse 1, nothing ever happens. Yeah, and you're not the only person, KSS, who says that, and that's you're absolutely right. There's nothing quite like the mining laser to be the most discerning thing when it comes to your being able to figure out what's in a rock. There's no question that the mining laser's far more accurate than the V scan. They used to have scanning in a better place, I think. While I think the UI has improved, I definitely think the mechanics have gotten a touch clunkier. And I don't, not to complain. I mean, just to kind of call it out, call it as I see it. And I do hope that it does get back to a little bit, a little better place. There have always been dead rocks, but it has been a little bit, little uncanny lately. So it looks like we found our first little cluster there. And it is scanning. That's good. What do we got here? So, yep, that's going to be kind of a working man's cluster over there. I don't think it's going to have quantanium in it. There's a couple of rocks here to scan, though, so we'll definitely keep on trying. That's a 3% quantanium rock. Not exactly what we're looking for. Oh, there's a 2% quantanium rock. Oh, so Grey Nomad UK is saying, hey, how are you? I normally watch your streams after you're gone the next day to do the time zones. I watched one where you mentioned something. I don't see the rest of it there. I appreciate you watching them. Oh yeah, I will be sharing the link sometime soon. We're still doing some QA work on it. As a matter of fact, the guy, one of the really sharp guy in my org is the guy who's knocked the app together. It's actually if you have an Android phone, if you go look at the Google Play Store and search for QuantCalc, so QuantCalc, all one word, I believe. It's QuantCalc. You can find the app. Now, I think it's 99 cents, and all that just goes to like our Discord and stuff. We're not trying to get rich or whatever doing that. But it's a very nice thing to have. And it's going to be greatly improved where it's going to have a whole bunch of good information about, where's the closest place to take it, how your refining offsets are going to work. But yeah, it's QuantCalc in the Google Play Store. It's there now. It's in its infancy, so for it's real basic. But yeah, go ahead and let me know what you think, and I definitely, as soon as it kind of is ready for 100% prime time, I'll definitely be advertising it a little more. Thank you for asking. So Chris Bates is saying, can't wait to get my hands on Star Citizen, but first I need to save up for a PC. Yeah, I've been hooked on SE Video since 3.8. I'm building my streaming studio around this game. Chris, it's so much fun, man. You're going to love Star Citizen. I mean, and all of its trouble and, you know, it's an absolute blast to play. There's no other experience like it. I've been gaming forever. I played EverQuest way back in the day. You know, I got a Commodore 64, you know, in 1987, 88-ish, you know. So yeah, man, I've been gaming for a long time. I played millions of computer games, you know, like endless amounts of them. And there's nothing quite like Star Citizen. It's a really special category. And as far as building the streaming, you know, stuff and doing kind of video editing and learning the stream, that's all fun stuff to do. It is a really good pastime, and I didn't actually start out wanting to stream, but I love mining, and I know it's not the most high octane content, but I absolutely can respect where you're coming from with that. So, all right, well, we haven't found anything. Wadwick is saying, have you adjusted for your field of view? I never see the top of those two screens, and unless my head. Oh, did I play UO? I played Asheron's Call, and I played EverQuest, and then I moved to Star Wars Galaxies. But I think there might have been a little Dark Age of Camelot in there. I did not play Ultima Online. That was one I missed. And sorry, I did. A lot of people say good things about it. There was an Ultima game that I played, like that type of game that I played like way before Ultima Online, but. All right, we'll keep looking here. One thing about looking around in the Halo, you got plenty of time to chit chat. Yeah, sometimes. All right, they're getting a little slower scan there, and that is a 5122, and that's a 16%er. So that's not a terrible rock, but it's not quite enough. 16% is not going to do it. So, Linda Lucas, what's up? Not much, man. We're just doing some air and Halo mining. How are you? Just kind of enjoying the day, doing a little mining out here in the air and Halo, and chatting all things theory crafting regarding Star Citizen mining, and anything else you want to chat about. I do, my field of view, I think, I can show you what my field of view is. It's a good question. I guess let's take a look. My field of view right now is set to 100. So I actually have this ultra wide. I have this. I think it's 5120 by 1440 screen. I don't actually try and stream anywhere near that, obviously. It's just a 1080p stream. And I play in 1440p when I stream to 1080. So the field of view sometimes does get a little weird because I bounce back and forth between those resolutions, I've noticed. But it's not, it's not terrible. It's definitely manageable. So, Linda Lucas is asking, hey, what chip is that? This is the MISC Prospector. This is your basic level, your first kind of mining ship that it has a single laser on it. It's just the basic vanilla miner, and it's my favorite. I'm a little partial to it. It's my favorite chip in the game. Perfectly Game is saying, hey, saying, let's talking about ROCs and this type of thing. We don't ROC in space. We should try to ROC in space one time. I mean, I do see rock icons from time to time on an asteroid. I should, for funsies one time, pull some ROCs and see if we can get them to do anything in space. I don't think so. They get kind of sideways pretty quickly. Alrighty. whole lot of action on this guy here. Probably a dead rock. We'll keep on moving. So yeah, this is one of the, you know, things about the Iron Halo. You know, you and it's just like anything else in the world. You can pull out, you can drop out of quantum and find quantanium rocks sitting right there, or sometimes you have to work a little bit for them. And I think that that's okay. You know, it kind of brings, you know, obviously if every single time you went out and caught big fish, you wouldn't, you get bored with it, so. So we're keeping ArcL1 kind of, you know, in view and just kind of working our way back through. Definitely pointing at things that are kind of, you know, not completely out of our way. Hey, there's, oh, hey, there's a little cluster there. That's good stuff. Let's see what we got. 25,000, so that's going to be 5 rocks. That's obvious. That's cool. Hoping that these guys are scannable. Oh, yep, here's a slow scan. And what do we got there? We've got this is going to be a working man's cluster here. There's not going to be any quantanium in it. Commander Keeper saying, what modules do you use? Right now, I have a very vanilla 3 brands is what I have along with me. The brands are really good for kind of flattening out quantanium instability. And you know, and in space, you're never going to find a rock that's bigger than 5122, so the Lancet can break all rocks out here in the Iron Halo. So just I bring Brant, so I have lots of them, and you know, I can flatten out the instability and the resistance with the Brant. Between the Lancet and the Brant, it's a pretty easy gig to mine the quantanium. Jay Ty is saying, is mining working for you in the Halo? You know, I have been mostly on Lyria the last, I don't know, couple months, doing pretty well. The last couple of mining runs I did on Lyria since 316, or pardon me, 316.1 dropped, they were a little slower. So I thought I'd come out to the, you know, and one of my org mates was like, hey, I'm cleaning up in Halo, so I thought I would come out and see how it goes. The other thing is when you stream, it's kind of nice to have the anonymity of the Halo. You never worry about, if people can find you out here, they deserve to get you. Hey, there's another big cluster. Look at that. So let's go ahead and see what we have there. That's 30,000. That's going to be 6 rocks. Yeah, Wadawik is saying that's why I like Lyria. I normally mine on Lyria quite a bit. And yep, I usually have, you know, pretty good consistent luck there. But I think it's good to shake it up now and then too, and go out and mine other places, and especially after there are patches that drop, you definitely want to have a little bit of some perspective. So, all right, well, this is a quantanium cluster, so this is great. We're going to move in on this and scan each rock. So this is cool. We've got a lot of rocks here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Looks like 10, I think. And so this is all going to be quantanium here. And so this is, you know, we're going to scan these individually and find the best rock for us to and I'll start up here. So let's go ahead and we'll pull the mining laser out and just kind of begin scanning. So this is not going to be terrible, I don't think. So there's a 5122 at 25%. I'm just going to grab for QuantCalc right now. This is QuantCalc is this little app that we're designing, and it's available in the Google store now. It's called QuantCalc, but this is a 5122, and I am going to do this one at 20. It's basically 26%. It's 25.99, but I'm going to do it at 26. 5122 26 done. That's 26 SEU quantanium right there. So we'll move on to the next rock. Obviously, that top rock is the one we're trying to beat. So, yeah, Wadawik saying there's got to be a good one in here. Yeah, I would agree, man. I hope that's the case. You know, that first one was a decent rock. I mean, there's nothing wrong with 20. Every time you get north of 20 SCU, you're doing just fine. So, just trying to get a scan result on that guy. Not having a whole lot of luck. We'll come back to that one. This is not going to be great. This is a low, that's a 2%er. This isn't going to be great. That's a 2%er. Let's take a peek here. That is another 2%er. The 2% milk in my area is blue, has a blue cap. So a lot of times I tease and call the 2%ers blue caps. There's a lot of blue caps. That's maybe a little bit too much of more of a dad joke than a Star Citizen, you know. Cool. All right. Well, there's nothing in that one. A couple more of these to look at, though. Yeah, a lot of 2%ers in there. I'm glad we do have we have the one good rock. We can definitely mine that. Absolutely can do that one. There's another 2%er. I think this guy was. Let's go in and kind of hit this guy with the laser. There's a couple here that are. A little grumpy. So this one here I wanted to get a scan on. Right there. Let me view that guy for a minute and see if I can get a... Another 2%er. That's a 2%er. So yeah, it's just this one, out of all these rocks, it's just that one that's got decent quantanium. And that's all you need with the Prospector. Obviously, that's what we're here for, is this guy right here. So, this was our guy, this top rock. And it is a 26%er at 5122. So we will move in on this guy and make it happen. Kind of get some contrast in there. I like being able to put the, put the optimal window in a little bit darker spot. So that's kind of nice. We'll start putting some energy into this guy and getting her broke down. Hit G a couple times. That kind of frees the laser up where you can kind of move it around a little bit. And I'm going to go in and probably get it in around 12 or so here. And you can see the charge level starting to build. It'll build a little slowly in here, but that's all right. We'll be good. The one thing it does seem like they have working a little better is that I've noticed where you don't necessarily have to pinpoint on the rock specifically to get it to give you the yellow outline. So that's a good thing, I think, overall. It looks like you're able to kind of put the, kind of anywhere on the rock and it will go. So. 1.56 instability here. It won't be too bad. About 50%. Close range to about 9.5. Watch her build it up in there. 5122 is the largest mass rock you're going to find in the air in Halo or anywhere in the space mining. Not exactly sure why that is. It's just some weird meta that's in the game. I'm sure they're going to fix that at some point later. I'm really looking forward to when there's like 13,000 mass rocks that require the mole. I do think that would be a great thing to add to the game at some point. And you don't want every rock to be big like that, but it would be cool if they put rocks in that only the mole could mine with its multiple lasers. And I don't even think that would be a heavy lift on their side, but of course, who am I to judge? All right, so we're getting up there towards the optimal window. We'll kind of micromanage it when it gets in there. Feathering the laser intensity back and forth with the mouse wheel to kind of keep her sound. Chris Bates is saying, what controls do you use? Mouse, keyboard, or controller sticks? What do you prefer? So, good question, Chris. I actually fly hybrid. When I'm flying, doing any kind of dogfighting or just flying around in general, I definitely have 2 VKB Gladiator sticks. Love them. Think that they're awesome mid-range. You know, they don't cost the same amount as the Virpil, but they're a step up from like the T16000s. But when I mine, I go back to mouse and keyboard. I like the precision of mouse and keyboard. I mouse and keyboard for FPS stuff, obviously, but it's a weird thing. Like, I definitely use my mouse and keyboard when I do the mining thing. So a lot of times, like, I'll come out of quantum, like if I'm like planet surface mining, I'll come out of quantum and then just go for my sticks and switch over to my mouse and keyboard and begin kind of looking around. So we'll drop this guy down. We don't want to. Good break, easy break. So, yep, a little bit of a hybrid model for me. All right, so there's a 54%er there. We'll have to come back to him. Now this is where you find out that a whole bunch of it break into. That's 0.9% in that one. That's too bad. That's a loss. I'm not going to break a yellow rock with less than 1% in it. That looks like it's going to have a little bit in it, 30-some%. So it looks like this spread out a little bit. Cool, nothing in that one. .721 mass there. That's a 58%er. So it looks like we're going to have a few rocks to break down here, and that's okay. That's what mining is. So this is probably going to be, yeah, that's an 8%er. So we'll break down this 8%er first. That's our first. There won't be much to break in this one down. The instability will be totally manageable without a brand at 1.05. I'm not even going to worry about optimal range on this one. I could probably just scooch in a little. But no big deal there. We're building energy into it, easy peasy. This will be an easy break. Oh, Chris Bates is asking, have I considered Game Glass? Absolutely have considered Game Glass. I think one of the things I definitely want to use Game Glass for is just calling for a landing. Just the act of having to hit F11 and press the keys. I definitely am going to get a Game Glass or some kind of a controller, but Game Glass would probably be the easiest one. I have a couple of older tablets that I think would be cool to do that. I think Game Glass is super cool. I really think that Game Glass is really cool. And I don't use Tobii Eye Tracker right now either, and I think that would have its benefits as well. I think that those are some things that I'm definitely going to build into, is getting the Tobii Eye Tracker together. Yeah, absolutely love the concept of Game Glass. I think it's fantastic. It's such a cool thing to be able to add peripherals like that, and I definitely even like I said, even if it's just to call a landing, Game Glass is definitely something I'm going to get into. All right, we'll flatten this guy out here a little bit. This is a 2.2. This is Brant territory for me. I'll go ahead and fire the Brant just to flatten out that instability. Notice it goes from a 2.02 to a 0.5. So it makes it much easier to manage, and when it's a little easier to manage, it's at least easier for me to read the chat too. So KSS is asking, you can have the same functions bound for mouse and sticks, so you can set up. Yeah, I've never tried to set up the joysticks for mining. It's a good point. You can definitely keybind stuff to mine with the sticks. I've never done that before. I'm really comfortable with mining with the mouse and keyboard. I think, and part of it's me being lazy. To be perfectly honest, I probably could find a way to make the sticks work absolutely. But I just like the precision of the mouse and keyboard specifically for that. So it's something I probably should just give it a try one time to see if I like it. The joysticks definitely have a couple of like wheels on them and stuff that might be kind of cool to do that part with it. Chris Bates is saying I love the Star Trek vibe. I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's you know, I do you know, I do think to myself sometimes, man, it would have been like 400 or 500 years from now, or whatever, when we're kind of mining the you know, in the asteroid belt in our own, you know, or using drone ships to mine, you know, asteroids or whatever. I definitely think there's, you know, it would be an awful cool time to live about 300 or 400 years from now, when we're in space much more heavily as a species. Hopefully, you know, we'll shake hands and get along and get off this rock, you know, for sure. All right, so I always liked it when Stephen Hawking's like, we got to get off this rock. I agree with that 100%, man. Humanity we're in a perilous spot. One big dumb stone can come and smack the earth and put an end to us. Oh, hey, there's something over there to mine too, huh? Looks like there's a little something there. Let's get the sun out of it. I really like how you can reposition on these. Oh, was this that 1%er? Oh no, that's a 60%. I know one of these was a 1%er in here. Alright. Well, we'll get this guy broken down. We'll double check all the other yellows and make sure that we're in good standing. Yep. Nope. You don't need to panic if you get into the overcharge a touch. Okay, it's not, all is not lost. Just either turn off the laser, roll her back, feather it back. You know, obviously if you get a bunch into the overcharge, you do want to turn your laser off and back away. But, you know, it happens. I mean, you get distracted, you know, maybe your son or daughter come ask you to look at a homework item or whatever. It happens. I mean, that's life. That's, I couldn't agree more, man. That's exactly right. Cool. All right, there's this one over here. This is a yellow. Let's just make sure she's nothing. She's nothing for sure. I think there was another yellow around here somewhere. All right. Well, let's go ahead and start. I think we're in good shape to start kind of extracting here. That's a 35%er. We'll come back to that. We're going to look for the highest percentages first. That's a nothing. This guy here. Oh, here's a yellow. I thought I looked at this one, but maybe I didn't. Oh, yeah, that was okay, there's that 1%er. Okay. We're not going to bother with that one. That's just loss. It's 45. Yeah, this broke up really kind of interesting. So we're going to look for the highest percentage rocks that we can find. But it looks like there's a lot of it's tangled up in other stuff. And sometimes the rocks break this way, and that's just kind of, this is where like an FLTRXL or something would come into, would be a really nice benefit. And I don't have any of those on board. And there's an argument to be made for at least having one of those on board for sure. And this is the use case for that. No question about it. I haven't even found 100%er yet. That's 60%er is the highest I think I found. So we're gonna be on the struggle bus here to get you know, a lot of quantanium on the deck. All right, so let's look at these last three. Hopefully, one of these has a high percentage. So there's my first hundo. We'll go ahead and grab that one and pull it on board, and happy that we can do it. We're going to be as discerning as we can here, but I don't know that we're going to be able to be that discerning, to be perfectly honest. You know, so we're going to shoot for 20 SCU because of the way that it broke. There's a 58. Oh, man. I don't know know if I looked at this guy over here. What's this guy? Nothing. All right, well, let's grab this 58. It's not great, but we'll grab it. Kind of work our way up. What's this guy? Notice how I pop it. Yeah, that's nothing. Chris Bates is saying, "What is your ultimate goal solo org?" Sorry, sound like an interview. Doing all the research I can. Yeah, no, that's an 8%er. That's yucky. You know, we have an industrial wing in our organization. It's Spectre Fleet.Space. Absolutely wonderful group of guys. You know, I do a lot of the organizational stuff. I don't. We generally speaking will do a lot of mining for. To purchase ships and to purchase, you know, armor and the things that we need. There's a 56%er. I'm going to grab that guy. You know, for the organization. Right now, I'm working on. I've been really debating between a C2 and an M2. I really do like the idea of the M2 because it's got the jump seats, and it's got a little bit more turret capability. I'm not, you know, like the C2 would be obviously perfect for cargo hauling, but as kind of a rock carrier and just kind of an equipment hauler, I do think that the M2's got the same amount of flat space, but she's got a little, you know, little thicker armor when it comes in. So I think I'm working towards either the C2 or the M2, I guess is what I'm saying as far as in-game personally right now. And I have the money to buy either one. I just don't have enough where I could buy all the stuff along with it, and also, you know, and also have a few bucks left in my pocket. So yeah, with the organization, it's just basically keep armor and ships, and I know we've bought a lot of Gladiuses and those types of things for our fighter wings. And so you can see here, it was a little bit of a struggle. Like I'm going to be full. I've got 21 SCU on board, and we'll just top off here. 21 SCU on board. The way it broke was not ideal, so no big deal. So now I'm switching back to sticks, just so you guys, you know, I thought it might be helpful to understand, and I'll just kind of line up on RKL1 and we'll head in. Wadawick is saying, I wish we could pop out of the ship and change the modules as needed. You know what? That would be an interesting thing to be able to do. And I think in some ways the mining gadgets that are coming in 3.17 Wadawick are going to be something like that. I don't necessarily disagree. You know, you're going to have kind of the mining gadgets on board. Now, originally they talked about being able to, you know, to have that one of those increase your laser intensity. So, like, if you happen to be surface mining and you find like the 7,000-pound rock, hopefully one of those mining gadgets allows you to attach it to it and still be able to use the lancet to get it done. So, I'm excited about the mining gadgets, but I agree. It would be interesting if you had some kind of a meta where you could swap your mining gadgets, like an EVA process where you just kind of go out in space and, you know, pull one off and put one on the head. That would be sweet. Love that idea. So between the two runs so far, we've put a little over 40 some SCU in the hopper. Can't complain about that at all. Well, we haven't got this in the hopper yet, but we're on our way to, and hopefully that will work out for us. Back to RKL1 we go. And we will put this guy in the hopper. It's crazy. I think there was like maybe 10 or 11 quantanium rocks in that cluster, and most of them were 2%. Um, you know, that was. I'm glad there was the one rock in there. She didn't break as clean as I'd hoped, but no big deal. You know, that's just the way it goes. You know, the way quantanium crumbles. I guess. All right, so in we go. For those of you who kind of watch the stream, you'll probably you maybe know. There was for a long time I didn't realize you could do the second quantanium jump, and so I used to kind of come in on a rail, and land my ship and store it. So ever since I learned the second quantanium is you can do the second quantum jump or whatever. It's it's really taking the edge off. Yeah, Chris Bates is saying that he wants to learn how to do full-length films in machinima, and I definitely think that would be cool. Even just like doing some real, like taking shorts to begin with, and video editing has become something that I really do enjoy doing, and I do most of my video editing on a Star Citizen style video. So I totally respect that, Chris. I think it's great. Cool thing to do. Here's where the game glass is what I'm talking about. This little act right here of calling the station. Now, I have voice attack. I don't use voice attack, obviously, when I'm on the stream, but voice attack works really good for that as well. We're bringing this in. Cool. Easy peasy. We'll just drop her right in here, nice and smooth. You always do want to try and make a smooth landing when you're carrying quantanium if you can. And we'll just come in and just kind of set her down nice and clean. Easy little drop. Right, there we go. Anyways, just kind of shut down the engines after that. In we go. Well, with 361, you can see that the health is the health and the thirst is back. And they've got, it seems like they have it dialed in pretty good. Like I've done 2 runs and I'm, a little thirsty. We'll go ahead and run in here as quick as we can. All right. Drinking a little coffee here as we head down to the lobby. Go ahead and store the ship. And that's got her stored, which is good. We'll head down to the refiner and put this guy on ice. Throw it in the hopper. Nice. it's always nice to get a couple of good mining runs in. You know, obviously 40 SCU is you know, north of 40 SCU. I think at 25, and you know, we'll see what we come out in the wash. We'll probably be somewhere around 19-ish or so by the time we pay our little refining hit here. Manny Casper is saying, I'm sure you get this all the time, sorry, but are your HUD scanner icons yellow? Is that just a prospector thing? No, it's a great question, Manny, and you know what? No problem. Thank you for asking. It has to do with this Aerial armor set that I'm wearing. I'm wearing the Hazard yellow Aerial armor set, and so that's why the icons are yellow for me. And I kind of tend to like them yellow. They stand out really well.
Hi. Good to have you back.
And so it absolutely has to do with that armor set.
Pretty good selection.
All right, so we're going to set up a work order here, and we are going to do the Dynix Solvenation. Get quote. We will confirm that guy. And so yeah, so we've done 23. We've done 43 SCU so far. Put that in the hopper. This 83 SCU was a mole run last night. So anytime you bring in over 20 SCU, it's nothing to sneeze at. So let's just do a little quick math. I'm just going to grab my calculator here and just kind of give you guys a sense of if we did 2387 and we did 2052 and we times that by 88, that's 182,963. Not too shabby. Oh, Maddie, no problem. Maddie's saying he didn't realize that it was that particular armor. Yeah, like I have there are blue sets of that armor and a silver set. Now I haven't thrown on the silver set because I'm scared of losing it. It's one that you had to buy originally, so I don't know how those ones work. I think the silver set actually has the blue icons on it, but the orange, the yellow Hazard stuff, you know, it is cool. I like the Hazard armor. I think it looks cool. And you know, and it's an industrial, you know, it has that industrial look, that happy industrial look to it, so. All right, well, you know what, it is a Sunday afternoon. It's only about 1:30 in the afternoon. I think I have time to do one more run. I don't always do that. Usually I try and keep them down to a couple. But you know, we started out pretty good. We didn't do too bad. I think we can probably. Hey, did I not hit the? No. What am I doing here? I think I have time for one more run. So we'll head back out to the Halo one more time and see if we can't do a little better. So Chris Bates is saying that he watched a Machinima show called Adrift, and I probably need to check that out. That's a good tip. I like Machinimas for sure, and you know, I don't know that I've watched Adrift before, so I'll have to check that out and see what that one's like. Maybe I have. I just don't recall it, I guess. All right, so we're gonna brave it here and go out with 70% hydration. Let me go ahead and take a look to make sure we're still solid on brands. We're still solid on brands with the Prospector. Alrighty, pad 2. We'll head on up and jump in the old Prospector. So 2 runs down, you know, with the in the Halo, and not necessarily no unicorn, no 32 SCU Prospector runs, but you know, a couple of solid mid 20 and a lower end 20, and we're not ashamed of those. You know, those are good runs. We make pretty good money doing that, and we're okay with it. Oh, it's a mining mission. That's cool. I didn't know that. Yeah, I'll have to check that out for sure. A guy I mine with a lot, and sometimes he's on the stream. His name's Razor in game. I refer to him as Four. In our organization, we have it organized, with numbers or whatever. So I call him Four a lot. But anyways, him and I were talking about how cool salvage could possibly be. It's like having this like a huge chop shop, in space or whatever, floating around, ripping up derelicts. Obviously, I'm really excited about that gameplay as well. At some point, looks like the Vulture's coming along pretty good. The industry side of things for our org handles mining and salvage, so we're going to use our mining money to purchase our salvage vehicles. I think, for the most part, that's how we're going to do it. We're going to buy the Vultures and the Reclaimers and that type of thing with money in game. So off to HURL5 we'll drop out at somewhere around 8.2 and begin looking around on our third run here in the Air and Halo today. Oh, I'm really looking forward to some of the other gameplay loop stuff. Salvage I think will be a blast. Don't get me wrong, mining is my jam. I love mining. That won't ever change at all. So. But I could see we're doing a little hull stripping and pulling some components out, using the Crucible to repair them. That kind of stuff would be a lot of fun, I think. So. All right, so we're cruising towards HURL5. We'll drop out of here, like I said, around 8.2 or so. We'll drop out and begin looking around and seeing if we can find one more nice quantanium rock to mine. It'd be nice to get something that would be, around 5,000 mass at 40%. That would be cool. All right, so we're getting close here. 8, 9, 8, 8, 8, 7, 8, 6, 8, 5, 8, 4, 3, 8, 2, and we'll drop out right there. Doesn't look like the best dropout point we've had. Take a look and see. So we're 8.178. Let me go ahead and just tap back and take a look at ARC and see how far we are there. Yeah, we're a touch further along than I wanted. So we'll go just a little bit towards ARC L1 here. There we go. This will work just fine. That's a tab, and yeah, there we go. Off we go. So, yep, I always switch back to mouse and keyboard just because that's how I like to do it. I double check, make sure I have all the functionality I need, and then there we go. So, Chris is saying my nephew wants a salvage org. My other nephew wants to start a security organization. Obviously, those two things can work hand in hand. I agree with that 100%. Obviously, salvage is great. We have a lot of... When we are mining in high-profile areas, we absolutely bring security. And for instance, last night, our organization, we have a medical wing as well. So we have Marines, we have FPS Marines, we have a combat air wing, we have a medical wing, obviously a logistics wing that kind of handles like the heavier ships. And then we have an industry wing right now as well, and we're standing up the intelligence side of things as well, which is always fun. So, Phenom is asking, hey, is that an Atlas drive you're using? Yes, sir. That's exactly what I have in my Prospector right now is an Atlas drive. It's that good middle ground, good distance. I really do like the Atlas. For short range stuff, the VK00 is really cool as well. But for our purposes here, the Atlas is what I have on board, and happy to have it. It's a great drive. So we'll begin that meta scanning that we got to do to find the rocks. There's some Bexolite in that one, kind of cool. And and one of the things I like to do is like I said, keep Arc L1 kind of at my 12 position, so I know I'm kind of not circling back on the and we get off the beaten path a little, but there's some twins. Let's see what we have there. We just got that first signature reading. Doe, yeah, saying did a mission today. First rock was 49% Q. You know what, Doe? I can appreciate that. I love when that happens. When you just kind of drop out and there's the 49%er. That has not happened for me today. And I have days like that, but I haven't had that. Hasn't been my day today. So this first one is a 3.82%er. No big deal. But yeah, you gotta love when that happens. Mining's one of those things. In 15 minutes, you can make $250,000, or sometimes for that same $250,000, you're out there for an hour or two. It's just one of those things, the way it goes. So we'll scan this other one. So that first one was a 3.82. This one is a 15%er at 5. So not quite enough in there to kind of to make us want to stop and mine that guy. That would be less than 20 SCU. So Chris Bates is saying, have you been a citizen for a while? So I started, if you go back to say this last Thanksgiving, 1 year ago, back from this last Thanksgiving. So I've been playing a little over a year and a few months. And I backed originally in 2014. I backed Star Citizen with a Cutlass Black in 2014. Then kind of just checked out. I also backed Elite Dangerous at the same time. Elite, the 1988 version on the Commodore 64 of Elite is like one of my favorite games of all time. And so I backed both those games in 2014 when they were coming out. I was super excited to do it. And then a couple of years ago in December, when they first dropped the Void Opal mining in Elite Dangerous, I played Elite Dangerous for like a couple of weeks, doing mining in that game, and enjoyed it for sure. It didn't kind of keep me interested. There was some really grindy mechanics and stuff with it I didn't kind of like, so I moved on. But eventually, I started watching Obsidian Ant videos around that time, which if anybody watches space stuff, they know who Obsidian Ant is. He's cool. And I was watching a Obsidian Ant video, and he mentioned that there were gameplay loops in Star Citizen. And I was like, what? Really? And so I jumped on, and that would have been once again about a year ago this Thanksgiving, the year prior to that. So I started. I was immediately hooked. Said, oh my gosh, this game is great. I love the mining loop in it, and played like crazy ever since then. So Tommy's saying, should I refine materials? And I was wondering which materials are worth the mine. So Tommy, you absolutely should refine materials. It doubles their value. Realistically, the only thing that's technically quote unquote worth your time to mine in Star Citizen is quantanium. Don't get me wrong. I don't. If I find a heavy Bexolite, I will mine it. I just do it for the, just to do something a little bit different. You know what I mean? But quantanium is really going to be the most efficient use of your time, and you're going to get 44 AUEC for unrefined quantanium and 88 for refined quantanium. So it doubles the value of the, of what it is that you're refining. So it's absolutely worth refining. I usually use the Dynic solvanation. If I don't mind waiting, it's the lowest cost, but you get the most yield, and it's the slowest. I will use the Ferron exchange if we do org stuff, because so I can pay people in a reasonable amount of time. Hey, there's a couple of twins. Let's take a look at those. And then Doe saying, yeah, when you find that 49%er, yeah, that's funny. It does make up for. I agree. It does make up for the slow runs. Doe was saying I had 20 dead rocks in a row yesterday. That can happen, and usually I kind of have a threshold, right? If I hit that many dead rocks in a row, I definitely will just kind of quantum of 15, even if it's just a little bit to get away from that spot that's acting so funny. Yep, neither one of these are good. Let's keep on moving. No problem, Tommy. Happy to answer any questions. Theory crafting on mining is one of the things that we like to do while we I like to do while I mine anyways. It's you know, it's mining's not always the highest octane and you know, one of those things where chatting about it is helps pass the time while you're doing it. Just love answering questions about Star Citizen mining. So, a good place to find quantanium, Tommy, is on Lyria, which is a moon that's off of ArcCorp. Anytime you find 2 or more rocks, a cluster, like if it's 2, 3, 4, 5, a cluster, everyone's always quantanium. You know, since 3.16.1 dropped, I will be honest with you, I have noticed that it seemed a touch slow. Both times I got, did really well, but it took a little time to locate it. So that's why I'm out in the Halo today. I thought it would be fun to kind of do something a little different. But the air in Halo is another good place to find quantanium. Daymar is a decent place to find quantanium. Yella is a decent place to find quantanium. So you can find it all over. It's just one of those things where sometimes you don't find it necessarily right off the bat in the percentages that are worth mining. So it's always a bit. It's a little like fishing. You go out and throw your lines in and hope the fish bite. There's a 7% Vexillite. Alrighty. We'll go ahead and keep on moving. And we know that's not quantanium stuff. Probably going to get the signature. Yeah, just the 5,000 signature there. Yep, we'll just keep on heading towards, like I said, keep an RKL1 kind of at our 12 o'clock, you know what I mean, and then we just, it kind of keeps you honest. You don't circle back on rocks you've already scanned. And that's a helpful thing. You don't want to do that if you can avoid it. And so, yep, this is kind of the more, quite honestly, the more grindy part of mining. You have to look around, find the things to mine or whatever. And so, this is our third dip into the Halo today, and we've had pretty good success the first couple of times. Mid-20s and a kind of a lower 20s SCU. What do we have here? We'll take a look. That is a aluminum rock. Okay. Keeping on here. Nice. Go ahead and see if we can get a scan on this. I will say 3.16.1, this is the first bit of air and halo mining I've done. I will say it does seem like they've got this, I don't know, they've done it, the scanning mechanics seem to work a touch better when they do scan. I certainly understand there are dead rocks, but I definitely am seeing, more consistently getting the scan results. When they do scan, so that's a good thing. Oh, that's an interesting. Joe saying that he likes the quantum sideways. I do think it's healthy every so often. Like if you're in the Halo and you're looking around for rocks and you're 20 minutes in and you haven't found hardly anything, especially if you're not seeing any quantanium rocks, it's never a bad idea to just punch it for a little bit of time. Get out of there, move on to the next little air to halo spot. Break it up a little bit. It's not a bad thing to do. So I do lots of mining around Lyria, and I find lots and lots of, you know, lots and lots to mine there. I've had pretty good luck around Lyria. And most of the time, if you look back at my old streams, I'm usually mining on Lyria. But you know, I thought the Iron Halo would be a little fun today, and we'd come out and do this. Desert Fox is saying, how is it that the rock icons are yellow instead of the HUD color? For some reason, it has to do with my Arrow armor set. I have the Gray Cat Arrow armor, but I have what's called the Hazard Yellow. So it's definitely triggering off my Hazard Yellow Arrow armor set, Desert Fox. I haven't figured out exactly why that is, but I do like it, and you know, I continue to use the arrow specifically for that, because it's nice bright yellow icons and good contrast too when you're you know, doing surface mining. Single there. Go ahead and see if we can get a little deeper scan on it. Yep, there comes the scan results. What do we got? We got a corundum. No problem, Desert Fox. Happy to answer any questions. Like I've been saying, anything mining related, theory crafting, anything you want to chat about, chat about it. Let's chat. You know, I love mining in Star Citizen, and I certainly don't mind chatting about it. So yeah, this guy is being a little grumpy about getting the extra. Oh, there she goes finally. About getting the scan results in. 5122 mass. That is a laranite rock. Doe saying, I am colorblind and can't deal with the colors on Lyria. You know what? I would imagine Lyria might be kind of just a sea of grays then. There's a lot of blue hues on Lyria. I could imagine that might be a difficult thing if you're colorblind. Maddie Casper saying, honestly, all the halt illegal surveillance and claim jumper missions, I wish I had better visibility from the cool armor. Fair enough. Yeah, maybe maybe start wearing the aerial armor when you do those missions. I wonder if that would help. It's funny. All right, seeing if we can dig out a little bit. I'm side strafing. It does look like I'm driving right towards it, but I never really am. I usually am side strafing a little bit. You know, obviously one trick that you learn is you'll slam into rocks head on if you just kind of drive right at them. So I don't see nothing worth mining here. We'll kind of head over to this guy here. But once again, we're going to keep using Arc L1 as our bellwether for a directional position. Single there. Go ahead and get a scan on her. That's just going to give us the signature. Yep, and then I'll begin the secondary scan on it. Seems like you get in about 3,000 or so if it's not a dead rock, and you'll start getting that slower tick scan. So the first one kind of gives you the signature amount, which is kind of cool. Now that's a quantanium rock, but she's only 4%, so we'll just keep moving right along. On looking here. Been back and forth to Arc L1 twice. We've gotten, you know, somewhere in the 40 SEUs, 45-ish, in a couple of runs so far. No, I haven't put a uni on board today, but that's okay. We are happy anytime we can get more than 20 SEU of Quantanium, you know, in the hopper. Awesome. That is a 2.69% Quantanium rock. That is not going to do it. We'll keep on keeping on. It is not going to do it. And I like to cruise around 300 or so when I'm out here doing this. that seems to be kind of a, you know, you're moving along, but you're not at a dangerous speed. All right, let's see here. There she popped. That'll be the first one. Will be the 5,000 signature mass. Yep. And then we will move in and see if we can't get the scan results. See if we can get her to tick out. There she goes. 4931 mass, and that is a diamond rock, 21%. Too bad diamonds are not worth a whole lot in the Star Citizen universe. I always laugh about, you know, man, if you found that much gold or diamonds, you'd be real happy on Earth. All right, we're moving in on this guy, trying to get the deeper scan result. What do we have here? 4931 mass and a 2.88% quantanium rock. That is not going to do it. On moving. Hey, there's a pair of twins there. This will probably give us the 10,000 signature. Yep. So you get the, you know, that part is working better. That is clearly working better than it used to be, where you get the signature. You know, and obviously I've seen 25,000, 30,000 and stuff when it. So this is a quantanium rock at 13%. So we'll move in and we'll scan the other one here. There's two rocks here. They'll both have quantanium. Tommy's asking, is laranite good? You know what? They're not bad. Laranite, terranite, bexylite, agricium, borace. You know, they're not bad. You know, and you know, I honestly don't mind mining them. For the stream, though, I like to kind of more or less quantanium headhunt. I think it's probably the most interesting mining to do. You know, as far as it's got the timer, and I think it's helpful for people to see that it's, you know, you can make it's not terrible to manage once you kind of learn the mechanics. But I will absolutely throw down for a good bexylite now and then, or some laranite or terranite. And I have no problem doing it. It's not, you know, it's not the most amount of money per hour that you can make, but it's definitely not a bad material to mine. All right, so we continue the cruise here, and this is what happens when you're in the air in Halo. Sometimes you just kind of cruise around, and it takes a little while to find something to mine, and that's just part and parcel. You know, I think we were talking about it earlier. Someone mentioned, hey, I dropped out, and I think it was Doe. Said, I dropped out and I found a 49% right off the bat. Yep, been there, love that. But sometimes you have to dig it out a little bit and be persistent. Absolutely. Chris Bates is saying, hey, is your org looking forward to Pioneer base building? We can't wait for that. Absolutely. We're so stoked about that. We could not be more excited for base building, for refueling, for you know, Orion mining, for capital class, you know, capital craft stuff. We are definitely looking forward to base building. You know, and then doing some, putting a base in a cool place and being able to use that. Hopefully being able to build things like refining centers and things like that at your base would be really cool. All right, here's the second rock in these twinsies. Hopefully this is a better one. That's a 2%er as well. JM Corp is saying, every time I've got someone watching me mine, I don't find anything until they get bored and wander off. Hey man, that's reasonable. I understand exactly what you're saying. I mean, I enjoy mining. I enjoy talking about mining, but you bet it's like, it is uncanny when I'm not streaming how like awesome of rocks I find, how quick. And when I do stream, it's just one of those things, you just find them or you don't, you know. So you hopefully there's some people who want to chat a little bit about mining, and you kind of pass the time as you kind of look around. The air in Halo is the anonymity factor is great. I mean, if you're streaming, if somebody finds you in the air in Halo, they deserve to get you. You know what I mean? So the anonymity factor is fantastic, but I agree. Finding the thing to mine and keeping people interested. It's not high octane jam. I get it for sure. Yeah, that's a working man's cluster right there, as I like to call it. There's not a lot of good stuff in it. So, Desert Fox saying the armor is the Gray Cat armor purchased from the cargo refining. No, you're not being a pest at all about you can get the Gray Cat armor. I get it on Port Tressler, but I think in almost any of the cargo centers they have the Gray Cat Arrow set. But yeah, I usually grab mine on Tressler. Why I'm there. That's where our org that's where we set up our our base of operations. We like that place because you can fly down and load the ground vehicles out of the same place, out of New Babbage. So that's how we do it. So Tressler, I'm on there quite a bit. Let's see, this is a Laranite. That's a 25% Laranite right there. That's a good Laranite rock. It's a real good Laranite rock. KSS is saying, what about Borace? I never hear anybody talk about Borace. Here's the thing about Borace that I found, and this is just my own experience, KSS. Borace very often breaks. When it breaks up into a lot of the other stuff. So if you're trying to just get pure Borace, it's difficult to do. One time, I think I did find like a 300 mass purple rock of 100% Borace, and I just took it instead of quantanium because I was so excited. I was like, holy crap, that's a pure Borace. You never see that, So it was like a unicorn Borace, so I grabbed it. But yeah, Borace it's an interesting thing. It really breaks funny. A lot of it is, you'll get 17, 18, 20% into the, it doesn't, I've never had it break that purely, when I break up a Borace rock. Chris Bates is saying, be cool to surround a cave and use for stockpile. Oh, yes, absolutely. All of the base mechanic stuff just seems like it's going to be fun. Stockpiling, maybe some kind of a passive, way to generate resources, like if you're farming, or maybe there's, some kind of a surface you can, install some kind of a mining rig that will just generate a little bit of, stuff. On your land claim, that kind of stuff. I'm really looking forward to. Hopefully they do something kind of Star Wars Galaxies with it, where you can actually set up mining, like harvestable fleets and stuff. That would be really cool. All right, so we're getting some more scan results here. We are definitely, spending some time looking around here. There's no question about it. Did I scan this one? I did. It's a 5122 mass. And that is a 45% aluminum rock. A lot of aluminum in that one. Aluminium, if you will. Alright, there's another set of twins. So we've been out here long enough to eat 25% of my hydrogen up. Alright, 4,600 pound rock here. That is got 4% quantanium in it. What's this other guy got? Let's cross our fingers. That's 4.76 quantanium there. And 4% there. Not fantastic. We'll keep on moving. So Tommy's asking, do you find quantanium in around the stations and that type of thing? I will tell you, if here on HURL3, if you go to HURL3, and I've done that a lot. I flew out of CRUL1 to HURL3. There's tons of quantanium in HURL3. That's a great place to go mining. You obviously when there are places where people can fly to, there's always a higher chance that you'll run into somebody who's wants to extort you or pirate or whatever. But I've never had any real problems with that. It's HURL3 is a great place to go. Chris Bates is saying a cargo refactor. Your thoughts? Oh, definitely looking forward to the cargo refactor, and it will be interesting how that goes. The one thing that I'm very curious about is is the Argo raft, is its external loading going to be faster than an internal loading? I mean, they talk about how physicalized inventory is going to have these times to load. So they have this mechanism on the Argo raft to kind of just drop the larger containers off and kind of putting in that precursor work for the Hull series. It's going to be really interesting to see how that pans out, what their goal is with it. All right, here's 3. Let's go ahead and keep on looking. And Cyber Spooky. Hey, how are you doing, Spooky, by the way? Let's see here. This is, I'm going to see what this guy is. This is not quantanium. We'll look at that one, too. I spent 2 hours today and then I'm going home empty. Yeah, I'm not too far away from that, man. I mean, it's, I haven't gone, I put about 40 in the hopper. It definitely has been a working mining man's day today. It's not, you're not falling on top of, the big ones. I think Doe was saying earlier today that he kind of, came out and found a 49%er. But hey, here as we speak here's a 32%er. All right, so 49.31 at 32%. That's a good rock. We're going to go in and we'll come in and take a look at the other one, and we'll see what we have here. So this is, that's not going to be a bad rock. That's going to be, around high between 25 and 30 SCU, probably 28, 29-ish type of thing. Let's take a look at the other rock in this twin set. That is a 2%er, but this guy is not a 2%er. This guy is a... So let me V out of this guy. We'll kind of bring back the limiter a little bit so we have a little tighter control on the ship. Pull out the mining laser. And we will have a look-see here. Now, and I haven't mentioned it a little bit, if you go to the Google Play Store, there's QuantCalc, QUANTCALC. That is a quantanium calculator, mass calculator, the very, 1.0, or we're about to do the 2.0 version of that app. It's an app that you can download, and it'll do simple things like tell you if you put in the mass, which I'm about to do here. So the mass in this rock is 4931. 4931, and that is at 32% quantanium. That is 31.56 SCU quantanium. So yeah, I mean, just mentioning it, we're not trying to get rich off of it or anything, but it's a handy tool. It's a buck, and it can make it so you can just kind of quickly know how much SCU. We're working on and I shouldn't say we are. The guy, really smart guy in my org, is working on it. I kind of am doing some Q&A for him on it, and we are getting it where you can, if you put in rocks 1, 2, 3, and 4, it will kind of tell you the total amount of quantanium in the cluster, and then kind of where to take it, where's the closest place to take it, and what and refining costs and that type of thing. So Chris Bates is saying it's a little bit hide and seek. It's absolutely just like fishing, And a good joke that my buddy likes to say is they call it catching if you just went out there and caught them all the time. It would be called fishing. So I like this. That's a joke I like to steal. I think that's quality. So I'm scooching over here. I'm going to get myself down into a good range. Notice I put the optimal window on a dark spot of the rock, so it's you have good contrast. 5,000 mass rock. We're going to easily break this, but it's definitely in a situation where it's going to take a moment or two to build some energy into this guy. But this is if this breaks clean, if we get a good clean break, we could have between 28 and 30 SCU up in maybe even a little north of 30 SCU, depending on how it breaks, right? So we'll go ahead and break her down and get her done. Exactly like that, Doe. Spelled exactly like that. Quant Kelp, just like you have it in there. Should be on the Google Play Store. We haven't got into the iOS store yet. We're working on that part of it, and it's in its very inception phase. So it's definitely an early access type tool. We definitely want to have it be a little more robust going forward, but it's a great little tool to have. It's a nice thing to be able to just know how much quantanium is in a rock real quick. So we're kind of moving, kind of got this guy bouncing in and out of the optimal. It is almost a 2 instability, so we'll keep feathering the wheel here and getting a clean break on it for sure. We're in the low part. It fell out for a second, but it'll build back in. Not worried about it. That's quantanium for you. She likes to kind of break in certain directions for a while and then break out. So. Yeah, it made me work for it a little bit, but I was real close, and so that one made me work a little bit. So that's a good break. That's a 100%er right there. What do we got here? This won't have a whole lot in it. Nothing. So Tommy's saying, is it possible to only take one type of ore from a rock? It is possible. If it's 100% rock when you break it down, right? So you break it in that first place. So for instance, this rock here that I looked at right there, that one there, that scanned at 100%. When I break that down into purple, every rock in it's going to be 100%. So you know you're in good standing with that one. So yeah, I mean, I have definitely had full, what we like to call unicorn runs. I've had a full 32 SCU of quantanium many times in my prospector. And 2 times in the mole, we've had 96 SCU. There's another 100%er, so this broke really nice. Good breaks on this one. Cool, Gray Nomad. Thank you very much. That's awesome. Chris Bates is saying, is there a mining tool scheduled for a game of some kind? I'm not entirely sure. Chris, ask the question a little different. I'm not sure that I understand exactly what you're asking, but I would love to answer your questions. That's 100. What is this guy? And this is going to be nothing. Cool. All right, so we got a hundo there, we got a 40 there, and another hundo there. So this isn't going to be too bad. Right? This was the hundo down here. And then was this the 40? Kind of bouncing back and forth here. Cool. And what do we have here? Awesome. Nothing. Okay. Gotta kind of remember all this stuff. This was the other hundo, I believe. Yep. Okay. I want to break down the 40 first, then the 200. So that's why that's nothing. It's got to be this guy, then. Hey, yeah, this is the 40 here. So I'm going to get into optimal range here. We're going to break down this 40 first, then the 200s. Then we'll scoop opposite, right? We'll scoop up the 100s first and come back to this 40 and look it over. So we had some pretty clean breaks. I have Brant's on board. I will flatten out the instability of this rock for sure. Watching it slide into the optimal here. Right as it does, I go ahead and pop the Brant. I pull down on the, I feather it down. I kind of just get a sense of where we're at. We're still building a little bit. I'll pull back down to say 19% here. And let's see how we're doing, and I will look over at the chat. Chris is saying, you ever hand place it on the asteroid? I'm not sure what you mean there, Chris. You ever and hand place it on the asteroid? Not sure. No big deal. If you ask it again, I'll definitely see if I can figure it out. Mr. Zai. There's a... How are you, Mr. Zai? Yeah, I mine now and then. I don't... it's... I definitely do. That's funny. He said he's teasing me. Mr. Azai and I are buddies. He knows I'm mine. I'm been showing off quant calc. All right, here's our first hundo. Not a great range. We'll kind of get the range in a little better, but we can handle this, no problem. The brand's down to 3%, so we'll have to rebrand, which is no big deal to do. You never not want to use your brands. When your instability swings so wildly, like at 2.5, it's silly not to use the brand. It just makes everything way more efficient. You got a little bit into the critical there, no big deal, easy peasy. Just rolled her back out, feathered her back out. The brand has got this flattened down to a 0.62, easy to do. And oh yeah, the EU op is happening today. I forgot about that. You know, I think I seen two invited me along, and I was out doing this, so I thought I would finish this before I kind of went and looked at what was happening. We have a North American and a European wing of our organization, and the European wing is out doing an organizational operation right now. Cool. I thought one more of these was 100%er here. Did I break them all down? Alright, so purple, purple, purple. Sometimes I get chatting with, and I don't... Yeah, this guy was not anything. Yep. This guy was not anything. Yep. Oh, yeah. It's this guy. It was hidden back here. Yeah, there's my other hundo. I knew there was another one back there. I was just, it was definitely right behind the, now this has got a very tiny, look at the mass of this guy is very small. So we just have to flatten her out a little bit and kind of deal with it appropriately. So Doyas, and he has trouble, locating how many brands are left. I agree. There's no counter. I definitely, with all the other things you're kind of micromanaging, I lose track of it. I just wait till they fall off the ship and replace them. I don't have any kind of no hot take on how to deal with that. I lose track of that myself, and it's one of the reasons I just run all 3 brands though too. It's because it's a little easier to deal with when you just know you've got everything you need for quantanium mining. So we're going to go ahead and begin extracting. We did the 200%ers and the 40%er here. So we're going to cross our fingers and hope that we end up somewhere around 30 SCU. Here's the next hundo. We'll get that guy on board. Alright. A lot of the stuff is Garbola, but we'll just kind of we'll stay honest with the scanner pretty much let it complete the scans. We don't want to accidentally take on something we don't need to take on, especially when there's a chance that we can have around 30 SCU here. So we want to be nice and clean and be discernible with our extraction mechanics here. Groovy. Another hundo, we'll take it. So we're already we're breaking 20 SCU here, and probably on this rock for sure. Good. Let's take a look at this guy. Another hundo. We'll take it. 22 SCU there. 20. Broke 25, almost 26. Just kind of keep letting the laser do its thing here. Good scanning. Look at, don't want to, yep, there's another hundo. Don't want to take in anything less than a hundo if you don't have to. But then, of course, you always want to, once you're done with the hundreds, then it's kind of the highest percentages first. So we are now 28 SCU. We're looking really good. That's 100% inert. This rock broke great. This is a nice clean break on this rock, and there's going to be a little bit maybe in this one. No. Oh, hey, there's a couple more here though. This rock could not have broke any cleaner. It really did break clean. There's this last one here. There was a little more in this one. There it is. That's the last of it right there. So we'll go ahead and scoop her in and hopefully break. We were thinking we were right around 30. Oh, we ended up with 29.94. Nothing to be ashamed of there. That is an excellent prospector run. We'll go ahead and go back to sticks. You know, won't waste any time. Notice we already had our L1 ready to rock, and we will start heading back in. So that's a good run. That's a solid almost 30 SEU. Very respectable prospector run there. Something we're really proud of. So good way to deal with that one. So that's going to bring, you know, obviously we want to get this guy landed and taken care of. But that's going to bring our stream total to, well, we had, you know, 30 and 20s 50 and another 20, so 5 or so. So right between 70 and 75 SCU of quantanium, certainly nothing to sneeze at. Pulling it out of the Iron Halo. You know, the Iron Halo is one of those things where you gotta, you know, monkey around a little bit and take a little bit of time. So Doya is saying I switched to 3 Vox modules. Now no worries, it's working, but the window is a little small. You know, I have not used that particular passive module. I have heard people mention the Vox, the VUX, or I think VO or Vox, whatever the enunciation is. But I have not tried those. I probably should take a look at those. I'm really looking forward to the mining gadgets. I really am. You know, I do hope that there's, you know, some good meta in there with those. But you're not the first person who's mentioned, Doe, that the VAUXs are good. You know, they're good. They're helpful when mining quantanium. So it's something I'll probably should look into and be a little more knowledgeable on. All right. So we are taking this guy into Arc L1. We're about to come out of first quantum, well, second quantum, and then go put this guy in a pad and go take the stuff down to the refinery. The Atlas is, you know, pretty quick when it comes to spooling up and getting ready to go, and then I'll cruise in at around 300 or so here. Nothing special. You know, not out of control, but, you know, definitely a healthy clip. Phenom is saying he runs 2 Vauxhalls and 1 Brandt. Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to look into that, you guys. It's not the Voxes I haven't really messed around with too much. You know, I run with that 3 Brandt, very vanilla, you know, easy to pop Brandts all day long type thing. And I know a guy of mine with 4, a Razor, he's definitely been running with the Surges a little bit lately. You know, Surges and Stampedes to deal with the bigger rocks, like a Surge Stampede and a Brandt, or Surge Stampede and an Optimum, or, you know, something along those lines. It's you know, he doesn't like it when you run into that 7,000 pound rock and you can't do anything with it. So All right, we're going to call for a landing here and take it on in. Matty Casper saying, when I do solo mining in the mole, I tend for the Helix 2, Focus 3, and a Brandt. Never had an explosion, but then I'm also mining like a surgeon. Yeah, you know, Matty, there are when you have good ping, you don't have lots of lag, and you're micromanaging. There's a lot of different ways you can do this, for sure. I think mining like a surgeon is an excellent way to talk about it. You know, I think there's something to be said for that. So we've called a pad. We're finally getting one. There we go. And we'll drop the gear, pull the VTOLs down, and just take her in for an easy landing. We have not heard first alarm yet, so we're doing just fine. I'll take her in for an easy peasy little landing here. I'll have to look at the Focus 3 too. It seems like I looked at all those. At one time, and I've never really gone back to them. I certainly have a lot of respect for the FLTR XLs, for the mining modules. I think that definitely, we like to do. We don't get to do it all the time, but I like to do where you have a team where you have two prospectors do the braking and just use the mole for scooping, and that's always a kind of an interesting thing. So if you have the FLTRs, you can really kind of focus on the scooping mechanic, with the mole, maximize, have at least one laser that's got two FLTRs XLs and one XTR XL. Hello, let me out. I'm not sure I've ever had it open on my prospector before. Oh yeah, Joe's like, yeah, like a surgeon when the Brandts run out. It's true. I lean on the Brandts. They do make things a little more hairy when they're, it's a little more sketchy for sure when you don't have the Brandts to flatten it out. It's it's not that you can't do it, you can, but it is something that takes a little bit more. You got to be a little more right on the spot with it, for sure. All right, we'll head down to the lobby, get this guy stored. In the mole, I don't worry too much about the FLTR due to the large SCU, but on the prospector, the FL... absolutely, Manny. I think that there's give and takes with all that stuff. And that's kind of one of the fun things about, everybody's going to come to the, it's cool that there's enough wiggle room where people can kind of come up with their own things that they think works for them. I'm definitely a very flat Lancet Brandt kind of guy, but definitely I can see the value in the different setups, and what people are going for, and many times when they're theory crafting, they have very valid reasons why they're choosing the things that they're choosing, for sure. Awesome. Down to the refinery we go. So this was the best of the three runs, for sure. That was a nice rock. It was, all of them were 2%ers, I think, except for the one halfway decent one that had we just ended up just shy, I think 29.9 something of quantanium. So excellent prospector run here. Nothing to be ashamed of. Maddie's saying he's very much loves how Star Citizen allows millions of different approaches to things, and obviously, yeah, it's not that vanilla, right? I agree with that 100%, Maddie. There's lots of different ways to do things, and I also like the fact that you earn your skill by doing stuff. It's not like you don't just kind of do things over and over again and you get like a skill up. You kind of learn Star Citizen through the School of Hard Knocks, You know, you blow yourself up, you learn. You don't do that the next time, or try not to.
So make sure to check them out.
All right, so we've got pretty good load of quantanium there. I'm going to throw the Dynex solvenation on that. We're going to get a quote on that guy, and we're going to call her good. Confirm. All right, so we that's our third run of the day. Let me see if I can kind of pull this guy over there. It's getting a little grumpy. So we got 2844. We're going to just do a little math here, right? So we're going to get out our calculator. Let's see, what against 2844 plus 2052 plus 2387. So that's 7283. We're going to times that by 88. And that is, you know, not a bad run. Not a bad run at all. You know, better than $250,000 sitting there for sure. So we are not going to complain about that at all. Tommy, you just got to keep looking around for it. You can't find any ore at all, or you can't find any quantanium. Tommy's asking, saying, hey, I'm an HORL3 and I can't find anything. You know, you should be able to. I mean, HORL3 is usually is a halfway decent place for quantanium. Now, I haven't been there since 316.1 dropped, but you know, generally speaking, it's not a bad place. Let me know if you're having a hard time finding just quantanium, or if it's just rock icons in general. Because if you're seeing rock icons, keep flying around. Eventually, you'll find quantanium there for sure. So I just wanted to, you know, oh, he just found an ore. Good. Well, keep looking. Tommy, you'll find quantanium there for sure. So I wanted to thank you all for joining me today on the mining stream. We set out to mine in the air in Halo, and we did that. We did 3 runs. We got a 73 SCU of quantanium in the hopper. Nothing to be ashamed of there. Very happy. You know, yeah, Tommy, if you just keep looking around in there, you'll find there's quantanium in HURL3. Just keep looking around. You'll definitely find it there. I've always found, you know, it takes a little time. Like anything else, it might take a moment or two, but you'll find like some twins that will have some 2%ers, and then you'll start seeing them in there, so for sure. So yeah, I just wanted to thank you all for joining me today. I love the conversation. We'll kind of shamelessly plug SpectreFleet, SpectreFleet.space. Great organization, great group of guys. We have anything you like to do. If you like to do FPS, Marines, if you like to do air combat, if you like to do or space combat, you know, fighter wings, if you like to do logistics and flying big ships, if you like to do industry stuff, whatever you like to do. You know, SpectreFleet is a great organization. Once again, I'll mention QuantCalc. That's QUANTCALC, QuantCalc, like Quantanium Calculator. That's on the Google Play Store. It will help you determine by mass and by percentage how much SCUs in a rock. It's in its infancy. It is you know, we just launched it, so it's a 1.0 version. It's early access is what I was trying to say. So, you know, understand that it's going to get nothing but better and better. So go ahead and check that out. But thank you all for, you know, your time today. Loved every minute of it, and I will see you all around the verse.